Sagt der Gemara, itma matzah tzarech hasiba. Morer ein tzarech hasiba. Yayin itma mishmei Rav Nachman tzarech hasiba. Itma mishmei Rav Nachman ein tzarech hasiba. So the shaila on the lashon of the Gemara is, why does the Gemara say that matzah tzarech hasiba, or that yayin is tzarech hasiba? Why doesn't the Gemara say that b'shas matzah you have to be meisiv, b'shas you drink wine you have to be meisiv? The lashon Gemara matzah tzarech hasiba is mashma that the matzah needs the hasiba. It's the matzah that's tzarech the hasiba. It doesn't say when should you do hasiba, b'shas you eat matzah, b'shas you drink wine. The Gemara says a much stronger lashon. The Rebbe is medayik this exact diuk, not in the lashon Gemara. I'm not sure why it's not brought in the Sikha. I mean, it's a diuk even in the lashon Gemara, but the Rebbe is medayik this exact diuk in the lashon of the Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch. When the Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch says when you have to do a seiba, the Alter Rebbe doesn't stam say that while you eat matzah and while you drink wine you have to do a seiba, which is by the way the lashon of the Rambam. The Alter Rebbe's lashon is, first he explains that you should do a seiba while you eat wine and while you eat matzah, and then the Alter Rebbe concludes lefichach Haim tzrichim aseiba derech chayros. Haim, who's the haim? The matzah and the yayin. The matzah and the dal cases, they need the aseiba. So from that the Rebbe is medayik that from here you see that aseiba is a t'nai in the kiyum mitzvah of achilas matzah. In order that achilas matzah should be kedabai, it has to be with aseiba. Aseiba is not a din klali b'fnei atzmai. Hasiva is a prat and a t'nai how to be mekayim mitzvahs matzah, how to be mekayim mitzvahs dal cases. Hein tzrichim hasiva. That's the Alter Rebbe's lashon Shulchan Aruch. So l'chayre, the exact same diuk you have in the lashon Gemara. Matzah tzarech hasiva, yayin tzarech hasiva. That it's the matzah and the yayin in order to be mekayim mitzvahs matzah kedabai, to be mekayim mitzvahs dal cases kedabai, it needs a hasiva. L'chayre. Okay, but the lashon Gemara is not a raya muchachas. It's not a raya muchachas, and I'll explain soon why not. But the pashtus. The pashtus lashon Gemara is mashma like this eifim that the Rebbe says in the Sikha, that it's the haseva is not a kiyum b'fnei atzmai, but it's that the matzah itself needs the haseva. Okay, sagt the Gemara weiter, v'loi pligi. So even though there's a chayra, looks like there's a machlekes, what Rav Nachman said, v'loi pligi. Ha betarte kosi kamoi, ha betarte kosi basroi. Depends if it's the first two cases or the second two cases. Fragt sich the Shaila, what's the simple pshat of what happened over here? What do you mean v'loi pligi? One Talmud, whoever it was, said b'shem Rav Nachman, yayin tzarech haseiba. He didn't say two cases it's tzarech haseiba, he said yayin tzarech haseiba. The other one said yayin ain't tzarech haseiba. So what do you mean habatati kasi kamay, habatati kasi basrai? What did Rav Nachman say? How did this happen here? So the pashas you would think that what happened was there was one Talmud that was sitting by Rav Nachman's Seder in the first half of the Seder. And Rav Nachman told him that you don't have to do a Seder for dalt cases. The Yayin doesn't need a Seder, but Rav Nachman was only telling it to him at the first half of the Seder for the first two cases. He thought that Rav Nachman meant for the whole Seder. If you don't have to do it for the first two, Mistami, you don't have to do it for the second two. Might have Gemina. Then there was another Talmud that was by Rav Nachman by the second half of the Seder. And he heard Rav Nachman saying that you do need a Seder for the Yayin. And he thought if you need for the second two, Mistami, you need for the first two. Comes the Gemara and clarifies, no, each one heard a different thing from Rav Nachman in a different part of the Seder. And the emes is like pligi because Rav Nachman meant to say that on two you need and on two you don't need. That's the taich of the Gemara. But it's a deichik. It's a deichik. The fact is the Gemara uses the lashon yayin tzarech haseiba and yayin ein tzarech haseiba, which means that this Talmud heard from Rav Nachman of Memre that Rav Nachman said yayin tzarech haseiba, which means yayin, not any particular case. Yayin needs a seva, and he heard that yayin does not need a seva. So, what's the pshat here in this? If you would be talking about a Mishnah where the Gemara all the time makes a kimtis and Mishnayis, so then I wouldn't be asking such a question. The Gemara says, Hoch b'may askinon, say that. But we're talking over here about a memra of an amayra. When an amayra says such a kind of a memra, yayin tzarech haseiba or yayin ein tzarech haseiba, the Gemara doesn't say a hoch b'may askinon ever, b'nigeya to what an Amayra says. And even here, the Gemara is not saying Hocha b'maya skinon. The Gemara says V'loi pligi. But how do you touch the statement of Rav Nachman himself? Another diak is based on the Hemshcha Gemara. Okay, let's see the Hemshcha Gemara. So the Gemara explains that Amr Lahaigis of Amr Lahaigis. Amr Lahaigis take Hasi Kamai Ba Sebe the Hashtu the Kamas Khalachairis. Take Hasi Basrai Loi Ba Sebe Maida Vahav. Amr Lahaigis Adarab take Hasi Basrai Ba Sebe he shaited the Kahavi Khairis. Then there is already Khairis. Take Hasi Kamai Loi Ba Sebe the Kati Avadma Unikoma. Okay, I'm not going to get into the etzim svaras of the Tuifanim because it's not so simple to understand what are the etzim svaras of the Tuifanim. Maybe a separate share I'll talk about that. But there's two svaras, where is there more chayres? The first two cases or the second two cases? So if you look at the teichen of what the Gemara is talking about, what's the teichen of the Tuifanim? Not going to get to the yayin itself. It's not about the yayin, the actual yayin that you drink. It's about what you say. It's about the things that you say in connection to the first two cases and what you say by the second two cases. Machlekes is, which one is more chayres? Is what you say in the first two cases, because that's when you begin talking about the chayres, more an Indian of chayres, or is what you say at the second two cases? You say hal, b'chsamazna, hal, that's an Indian of chayres. That's what the Gemara says here. Nu Seiba stellt sich the Shaila, two Shailas here. Shaila number one, the Lashon of Rav Nachman was yayin. Yayin tzarech haseba, or yayin ein tzarech haseba. Talking about the yayin. Why were they talking about the yayin? It's not about the yayin. It's not the yayin that needs the seiba. It's about what you say when you drink the kais. Whether you say the Agada and Kiddush or whether you say Birch Samaz Nahal, it's about what you say. You see, the whole teichen of whether you do or don't need a seiva is not about the yayin itself. It's about what you say. So, a starke shaila, it's not a very strong shaila because b'poil, even though it's not about the yayin itself, it's about what you say on the yayin. But b'poil, when do you do a seiva? You don't do a seiva b'shas you say the Agada, b'shas you say the Kiddush, or b'shas you say Birch Samaz Nahal. You do the Agada. You do a seiva b'shas you're meisiv. So b'shas you drink the wine. The Rebbe in Order 4 does bring a meiri that holds. Actually, does the Rebbe bring the whole meiri here? No, it's not an Order 4. Sorry. The meiri of Order 4 is a different meiri. 1 second. Where does the Rebbe bring this meiri? In Order 27. In Order 27, the Rebbe brings Arba Kaises Kulon Tzrichim Aseiba Hein Shtiyasan Hein Advarim Shehem Usudarim Aleim Ratzaloi Ma Kiddush Kriyas Agada Kriyas Halbich Samazin. So the meiri taka says b'feirish that Aseiba is not only when you drink the Dalit Kaises, but even the things that you say, you need a seiva. You have to say the Haggadah b'seiva. You have to make Kiddush b'seiva. That's the meiri shitta. But we don't paskin like this meiri. None of the Rishonim, the meiri is a das yochid. None of the Rishonim hold like this meiri. So why the Gemara b'poil use the lashon yayin sarach haseiva is because the haseiva b'poil is b'shas you drink the wine, not b'shas you say the Haggadah on the yayin. But afal pikein, I think the diuk is still a diuk because based on what I said before, that the mashma is a lashon matzah tzarech haseiba, yayin tzarech haseiba is mashma that the matzah is what demands the haseiba. The haseiba is a prat in how to be mekayim mitzvahs achilas matzah. Matzah needs the haseiba. The type of yayin tzarech haseiba is l'chayre the same. It's the shtiyas hayayin that needs the haseiba. But from the Hemshech of the Gemara, you see that that's not true. It's not the Shtiyas HaYayin that needs the Seiba. It's the things that you say on the Yayin that's Machayev da Seiba. Shaila becomes even stronger based on what we spoke about. The Tosfos and Daf Tzadik Tes, that there's a Machlekes Rishonim when they get to the gather of the old cases. Not what? Not all Achilas Matzah needs a Seiba? We'll talk about that. Not so pashas. Big Machlekes. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Machlekes Rishonim and Paiskim. Okay, we'll get to it. So, I hear you. So, b'negeya to Dalit cases, there are two shittas in Rishonim what the Iker mitzvah, what the Iker takana of Dalit cases is. Shittas HaTosfos, Shittas HaRashbam is that the Iker takana of Dalit cases is to say the things that you say. Kiddush, Gada, Hal, B'chsamazn. Things that you say, that's the Iker takana of Dalit cases. When you say it, or when that it should be said on a case. And there were even mice if they should also drink it. But the drinking is not the ikir. The ikir is what you say. The drinking, lefi taisus, is a chumrah that they were machmir, you should drink it also. The ikir is the amira. Shenk in the shitta of the Rambam, the Ran, and the Alter Rebbe, which the Rebbe quotes, by the way, in Order 32 of this Sikha. If you learned Order 32, one of the longer orders in the Sikha, the Rebbe quotes both shittas and Yishayim here. The Kitzer, the Rebbe's Mitzayin, is the Ran, and so on. So they hold punkt fakir, the Ik mitzvah of the alt cases is the Shtia. And Elamai, after they made the takana to drink, they didn't want you stam to drink 4 cases, so they said you might as well say something. You'll do a mitzvah in connection with each one of the 4 cases. But the main mitzvah is the shtia. Yeah, l'chayra. Yeah. We'll get back to the subject. This is I'm just bringing it up for what it's negate to pshat this gemara. But the ikir place for this machlekes is kuf chesam at base. We'll get back to it. But b'chlalus you have 2 shittas and rishonim. What's the ikir mitzvah of the alt cases? The shtia or the brachas that you say? And the Taisus and Ashbam hold that the ikir is the brachas that you say. Taisus says that it's doimet to kiddush, and there's a Taisus in Sukkalam at chesam and aleph that clearly says the main thing is the haggadah and the halal. That the main thing of Dal cases is the things that you say, so that you see tak in our Gemara. When the Gemara discusses whether Dal cases needs a seva, what's the whole discussion? What you're saying. Mishtoi, what are you talking about? Are you talking about Chayris? Are you talking about Avdus? Ashenkin, according to the Rambam and the Alter Rebbe and the Ran that hold that the main mitzvah of Dalit cases is the Yayin, the Shtiyas HaYayin, Nusa. So what's the Gemara talking about? Who cares what you say? Who cares what the person says? That the saying is like an added takana that they were masakan afterwards. Once you have to drink Dalit cases, so you might as well do a mitzvah in connection to each one of the Dalit cases. But the Eike mitzvah is the drinking of the wine. And what's the mitzvah of drinking the wine? Derech Eres. The whole mitzvah to drink. The Gemara says it befedish, Derech Eres. On Kufir Zayin with base. Which, by the way, I noticed afterwards that this Gufa is the Rashbam is not guided those words of Derech Eres in the Gemara and Daf Kufir Zayin. When the Gemara says Arba Kosi Tiknu Rabbanon Derech Eres, the Rashbam takes out the words Derech Eres, Lushitase. The Rashbam holds that there's no din of Shtia that Chacham wa Masakim. But in our Gemara it says Derech Eres. Okay. So why is the Gemara discussing what you say on the Dalit cases? What happened to the Shtia of the Dalit cases? That's for sure Derech Eres. Just like matzah. What does the Rashbam say, Rashi and Rashbam say regarding matzah? You have to, matzah needs a seva. Shuhu zeichel l'gula. Because eating matzah is zeichel l'gula. So Dalit cases is even more than matzah. Matzah is zeichel l'gula. What's matzah itself? Lechemoini, like Taisva says. The mitzvah of Dalit cases is even better. It's even more. The actual drinking of the Dalit cases is Derech Eres. So why shouldn't you need Haseva for Dalit cases? What's the whole discussion in the Gemara over here? Lefi Taisvus. Not Lefi Taisvus. Lefi the Rambam, the Alter Rebbe. Not only that, if you take a look b'fnim in the Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch, I think it's in Sif Yudalet, you'll see the Alter Rebbe clearly says that Dalit cases needs a Seva. And there the Alter Rebbe says the reason why Dalit Kaisis needs a seva is because the mitzvah of Dalit Kaisis is to drink wine derech Eres. Alter Rebbe Taka says befedish that Dalit Kaisis needs a seva because you drink wine derech Eres. The chayra hepech of what it says in our Gemara. In our Gemara it's muvur that the only reason you need a seva by Dalit Kaisis is only if what you say is Eres, not because of the drinking. Okay. So the chayra yeshleima the nekudas hadvarim of this Gemara is as follows. When the Gemara says that V'loi pligi, habetati kasi kamoi, habetati kasi basroi, pshat in the Gemara is not like it looks superficially. V'loi pligi, there was no machlekes between these two Ameroim, what Rav Nachman said. Their befedish was a machlekes. There is a machlekes between the two Ameroim, what Rav Nachman said. That's the pashtus haloshen. And if you don't want to twist the Gemara, the pashtus Gemara is one Ameira heard b'shem Rav Nachman tzarech haseba, and the other one heard Yayin ein tzarech haseba. Befedish is a machlekes what Rav Nachman holds. Does Yayin need a seba or Yayin does not need a seba? But the Maisas are saying that's taka all. Their machlekes was taka all benigeh to the shtiyas hayayin. This prat that you drink wine. While you drink the wine, does the drinking of the wine need a seva over here? It was taka machlekes. Whether yayin, the shtia of the yayin itself is something that should be machayev a seva or not. One Amayra heard from Rav Nachman that it is Mechayev Haseva. Yayim mitzad atzma. The whole union of Shtiyas Hayayin is derech chayros, and therefore the Shtiyas Hayayin mitzad atzma is Mechayev to be Meisiv. And another Amayra heard that no, even though the Shtiyas Hayayin is derech chayros, but it's not Mechayev to do a Seva. Why not? They'll explain soon when we get to Taisvus. But Benegeya to the Shtiyas Hayayin is Takam Machlekes. When the Gemara says V'loi Pligi, what the Gemara means to say is Hagam Takev Benegeya to the Shtiyas Hayayin, there was a Machlekes, but B'Poel Mamish, it's not going to be a Machlekes. B'Poel Mamish, they both agree. Why B'Poel Mamish do they both agree? Because when it comes to the mitzvah of Dal Kaises, besides the fact that you drink it, there's also certain things they have to say on it. Regardless of what's the Ikir and what's Tafel, everybody agrees that Dal Kaises has two components. So let's go with the shit of the Alter Rebbe. I mean, if you learn that by the Dal Kaises, the things that you say in the Dal Kaises is the Ikir mitzvah of Dal Kaises, then it's pashut why the Gemara is taking that into account. But even if you don't learn like that, even if you learn that the things that you say in the Dal Kaises is not the Ikir mitzvah, the Ikir mitzvah is the Shtiyah. And then there's also things that you say in the Dalit cases. But Afal Pikei, those things that you say on the Dalit cases is not a Pistam Zayte Gezach. It's not Stam Derech Agav. You might as well say some holy words while you drink this wine, so to make it holy. It doesn't work that way. The Rebbe quotes in the Sicha, in Ha'ara, everything is in the Ha'aris. I'm just telling you, anyone that learned the Sicha without the Ha'aris will not get anything that I want to talk about in the Sicha here. The Rebbe brings a Pri Chodesh. Where is it? Ha'ara 35. Ha'ara 35. The Rebbe brings from the Pri Chodesh that the things that you say on the Dalit Kaisis are ma'akiv. If a person drank Dalit Kaisis and he did not say the Haggadah and Kais Sheni, or what a Kiddush and Kais Rishon, Haggadah and Kais Sheni, it's ma'akiv. Beis Yosef holds it's not ma'akiv. The Pri Chodesh holds it's ma'akiv. The things that you have to say is ma'akiv, and the Alter Rebbe paskins like this Pri Chodesh, as the Rebbe brings over here in the beginning of Siman Tofayin Tes. What does that mean? The Alter Rebbe is the one that holds that there's a mitzvah to drink. The Shtiyah of the Dalit Kaisis is the Ikar mitzvah. Afal Pikein. Once Chachamim decided, and we're misakin that you should also say certain things in each one of the cases. It's not stam, navid bei mitzvah. Like the Lashon of the Gemara, you can take the Lashon of the Gemara and Kuf Yizayim. You might as well do a mitzvah while you're drinking it. If you do it, it's good. If you don't, it's also good. No, the Pri Chodesh holds the first case has to be a case of Kiddush. The second case has to be a case of Haggadah. The third is a case of Birchas Hamazon. And the fourth is a case of Halal. It defines what the Etzem case is. If you don't say those things, you're not Yetzer Dalit cases. And Mamela, what the Gemara is saying is as follows. The man, the Amma that heard from Rav Nachman, Yayin Tzarech HaSeibem. So this man, the Amma holds that the Yayin mitzad atzmai be'etzem takiz mechayev HaSeibem. Because the Yayin is derech chayros. Drinking wine is derech chayros. Elamai, but hayos by the first two cases. I'm going to take this tzad. You can take the two tzadim of the Gemara, but taking this tzad of the Gemara. Hayos by the first two cases, the things that you say on the case are things that are talking about avdos. So therefore, it's sort of as mevatel, that mitzvah that should have been, that you should have had to do a seva for the first two cases. Yayim mitzad atzma you should have to do. But hayos, the things that you say on the case are talking about avdos, which is heipich of the chayros of what the case is. So therefore, it's oiker, it's mafkia, that has seva that you should have been chayev to be mesiv on the shtiyah of the Dalit cases. That's this mandama. The other mandama holds, Yayin mitzad atzma is not mechayev seva. Taisa says the svara, Yayin is not the ikar of the suda. Yayin mitzad atzma is not mechayev seva. Even though drinking wine is derech chayros, it's not mechayev mitzad atzma seva. Elamai, but because the things that you say on the Yayin are talking about derech chayros, that's why you chayev to do a seva. If the things that you're saying on the Yayin are not talking about chayros, it's talking about avdos, then you're not chayev to do a seva, because Yayin mitzad atzma is not mechayev in a seva. When you say things on the Yayin in connection to chayros, then you chayev to do a seva. So what is the machlokes between the two mandamrim? But Payal Mamish, they don't argue. It's a mighty thing that comes out of it. But Payal Mamish, they don't argue. The only shaila is, mitzad what you say on the Dalit cases, what happened over here? Is it that Yayin be'etzem should have been chayiv and a save on all four cases, and now because of certain things that you say on certain one of the cases, it's mevatel that chiyuv, takes it away, or fakert? Yayin mitzad atzma should have been totally potter. And because of certain things that you say on two of the cases, you become chayiv. The only question is, what's the beginning? Where does it start and where does it finish? But the Payal Mamish, they both agree that there's only two cases that you have to do a save on. That's what the Gemara means when the Gemara says V'loi Pligi. But Payal Mamish, V'loi Pligi, but Payal Mamish, they both agree that there's only two of the cases that you have to do a save. The machlekes, though, between them was in Inyan. What did Rav Nachman say? Did Rav Nachman say that Yayin Be'etzem needs a seva? Or did Rav Nachman say that Yayin Be'etzem does not need a seva? So the Beferish was a machlekes between them. But when you get to Payal Mamish, there's no machlekes. That's the pshat in the Gemara here. Huh? What do you mean, which one says? One that says, the Mandam that says Yayin Tzarech HaSeiba holds Be'etzem, all four should have been chayiv. Now, because by two of them you talk about avdus, so that patters you. So so we see say over there you can't. There's no union of a seva. I don't want to use the word patter, but it's like oikeda seva over there. The other man don't held no yayin ain't tzarech haseva. Rav Nachman said yayin ain't tzarech haseva. But for Payal Mamish benegay to two of them because you're talking about chaydos, so therefore that's mechayiv the seva over there. Even though be'etzem should have been patter. That's the machlekes. What?
Why would anything be oikeda seva?
Because you're talking about avdus, just like there's no way to do a seva by mother. So because this that you say on the yayin is not again what and a chanami, but avdus. When you talk about avodah mayinu on the second case and even on the first case, the Gemara says the first two cases is still avodah mayinu. So because you're talking about avdus, so therefore there's no union of a seva. You can't have a seva. That's why I added before the vort of the pri chodesh. The things that you say on the case is not separate from the din of shtiyah. I have two cases. Happens to be, Chachamim said, while you're doing it, you should also say these two things. It's ma'akiv, and that defines this case. This is a case of kiddush, this is a case of berachas hamazon, and if not, you're not yaitza. So this becomes a case of kiddush, and this becomes a case of haggadah, which this man is you're talking about avdus, so that defines this case, at least to some degree, to be a case of avdus. And the shtiyah itself is derech chayrus, but it's a case of avdus. So it's oike the svara. I'm not going to say it's oike the chiv because there never was a chiv, but it's oike the svara that the yayin mitzad atzma would have been mechayev a seva. Why what?
Why wouldn't we just always do a seva by kiddush? The only problem is the second one.
Okay, that's a shaila in the Gemara. I have to teach what that means. Okay, I hear you. Okay, that's a shaila in the Gemara. Okay, I think that's the glatt pshat over here, this Gemara. Okay, so Alpizeh, one second, let me feel it's important nakud over here. So Alpizeh, Yeshleimar as follows. So it comes out, what's the maskan of the Gemara? Alright, how does the Gemara feel over here? Hashta de itma hachi, idi ba seva. But Payal Mamish, now that there's a suffix, and this, so therefore all four cases need a seva. So now, stellt sich the shaila, why do you need b'pel mamish at the end of the whole Gemara? Why taka does dal cases need a seva? So I mentioned to you before that Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch Beferish says that the reason why dal cases needs a seva is not only mitzad the things that you say on it. Alter Rebbe says dal cases needs a seva because drinking dal cases is derech chayres, the wine. The drinking of the wine is derech chayres. So the question I asked before was, it's not what it says in our Gemara. In our Gemara, the whole discussion is benegate to the things that you say in it. But based on what I said, the answer is no. There's two shlavim in the Gemara. The first part of the Gemara, it's talking about the yayin. Yayin tzarech haseva, yayin ain't tzarech haseva. And that's a machlokes, two amiroim, what Rav Nachman held. And when you get to that machlokes, the Alter Rebbe is paskening like the Mandama that says yayin tzarech haseva, which means that yayin is derech chayres and yayin mitzad atzma, the mishtiyah of the yayin is mechayev haseva. That's Alter Rebbe is passing like that. Then the Gemara has a discussion when you get to the things that you say on the yayin. Because of the things that you say on the yayin, should that be oikir, the svara of to be mesav ala yayin? So now, because the maskan of the Gemara is that we don't know which tzad is right, so therefore what do we say? That all the dal cases need a seva. So what happens now? In other words, we're makabel both stadim. We're makabel the tzad that says that the first two cases is the haschala of chayros, maschala of chayros, and we're also makabel the second tzad that hashtahavi of chayros, that adarabah. The second two cases is when it's really chayros. So we're makabel both tzadim, and we're machmir to be mesa by both of them. Kumtais that the reason for a seiba by dal cases is for two reasons. The shti is mechayev haseba because we paskin like the mandoma that holds yayin tzarech haseba, and also mitzad the things that you say on the dalt cases, that's also mechayev haseba. There's two sibas to be mechayev haseba. Mitzad the yayin and mitzad what you say, and that's meduyik in the whole sicha here. If anyone got up to sivav, yet? Huh? That's the whole chiddush of the sicha. That's what the Rebbe is saying here. If anyone got up to sivav, the Rebbe here is mechadish that when the Alter Rebbe was meshana the seder of the psukim. Vayitzeisi v'yitzal. The seder of the psukim is vayitzeisi v'yitzalti v'ga'alti v'lakachti. And the Alter Rebbe is meshana the seder. And by the way, the Rebbe also brings it here. The Rashbam is also meshana the seder. And the Alter Rebbe says vayitzeisi v'ga'alti v'lakachti v'yitzalti. And the Rebbe is masber. The reason why the Alter Rebbe was meshana the seder of the psukim is because it's behesem to the things that you say. Vayitzeisi is kiddush. You can look inside. The Rebbe explains why. Vayitzeisi is kiddush. V'ga'alti is the haggadah. V'yitzalti is v'lakachti is birchas hamazon, and v'hitzalti is halal. So when the Alter Rebbe is meshana the seder, what the Alter Rebbe is trying to say is the reason for haseba by dal cases is not only mitzad the shtiyas hayayin, which is the first shlav of the Gemara, yayin tzarech haseba. The reason for the haseba is also mitzad the things that you have to say on them. The arba cases needs a saving mitzad the things that you're saying in them, because we take the chumrah of both stadim of the Gemara. As I state the Ferish in the Sicha, in Sivav, and according to the way I'm explaining it, it comes out that the Vart that the Alter Rebbe says that there are two sibis for a seba, so likt in the Gemara, the makkah for the Chiddush of the Alter Rebbe, that there are two tainim for a seba by Dal cases, is here in the Pshat of the Gemara. Yeah, and this fits with the Rashbam. This is Shittas Rashbam also. Maybe you can say that when the Rashbam says Hashta Shamina Mino, the Arba Kaisis Tzarech HaSeba, the Rashbam says Hashta Shamina Mino, the Arba Kaisis Tzarech HaSeba. What's the Rashbam being meisif with that? When the Rashbam then says Morer Ein Tzarech HaSeba, that's another question. But the Rashbam, a few Bachar asked this to me. Why does Rashbam say Hashta Shamina Mino, the Arba Kaisis Tzarech HaSeba? It's mefurish from the Gemara. So the Chayri Yeshleima, that what the Rashbam is being meisif is, the Gemara said Yayin Tzarech HaSeba. And the Rashbam is being meisif that after the whole Shakel of Ataria, Arba Kaisis Tzarech HaSeba. Yayin Tzarech HaSeba is the din that Shtiyas HaYayin needs a Seba. Arba Kaisis Tzarech HaSeba is the fact that things that you say on the Arba Kaisis needs a Seba. And the Rashbam is taka the one that, the Mock of the Alter Rebbe, the Rashbam is the one that in the Mishnah was Mishana the Seder Apsukim of Vaytzeisi V'yitzalti V'galti, he puts V'hatzalti last, Vaytzeisi V'galti V'lakachti V'yitzalti. The Rashbam is Mishana the Seder, because the Rashbam holds that there's two dinim of Haseba by Dal cases, the Shtia and the Dal cases. That what? Why? I don't think it's changing. Being Meisif. The Gemara says Yayin Tzarech HaSeba, and then there's the whole Shakel of Ataria, comes to Rashbam and says, so now the Arba cases also needs a Seba. I'm just trying to think if there would be any nafkamina b'payil between these two dinim. The fact that there's two reasons to be Mechayev HaSeba, would there be any nafkamina? I mean, it's obviously, if there would only be a din that Arba Kaisis needs a Seva, but not Yayin, so then what happens if...
You have to re-say it.
Huh?
You have to re-say it again. Let's say you do a Seva.
If you have to redo a Seva, if you forgot to do a Seva, do you have to just drink the wine over again, or do you have to say... Maybe that's the word. What do you have to say? But that's a huge Kiddush. That doesn't say anywhere. Because if that's true, then you have to re-say Kiddush again. If you have to redo a Seva, do you have to re-say Kiddush again? Yeah, that could be enough Gemina. Or it's just enough to drink it. Okay, let's go to Taisvis. Zog Taisvis, Maida Hava Hava Shekvar Omru Geula Shekvar Omru Geula Lefnei Suda. That the Geula was already said before the Suda. We already spoke about the Geula before the Suda. Va'afal Gab the Matzah Tzrich HaSeba. But we see that matzah does need a seba, even though a matzah comes after the first two cases where he spoke about the Geula. Regarding that, we don't say Maida Avahav. Shani matzah shehi ikar suda. Matzah is different. Matzah you need a seba because it's ikar suda. Yaisim yayin, more than wine. So this taisa is very shver to understand. What in the world is taisa saying here? Who's talking about suda? Anybody mentioned anything about suda? In the Gemara it said matzah needs a seba, yayin needs a seba, morer doesn't need a seba. The things that you say in the Dalit cases is a sibah he should be chayiv in a seba or not be. But Tamal Taisus has a whole different approach to this whole thing here. Suda. And you see it not only when Tosfos answers his answer, but right in the beginning of Tosfos. Shekvar omru geula lefnei asuda. Even before Tosfos starts speaking, Tosfos is sort of bavaroning pshat in the Gemara. Pshat in the Gemara is that you already said geula lefnei asuda. What is Tosfos saying here? Then the second teretz of Tosfos is va'oid b'yayin heisav kvar b'shnei kaises harishonim. Regarding wine, you can't compare wine to matzah. Matzah you do even after it's already maida hava, because you never did a save on matzah before. But yayin, no. But yayin heisav kvar b'shnei kaises harishonim. So the second teretz of Tosfos is very difficult to understand. Who cares that you did a save in the first two cases, but you didn't do a save in the second two cases? What does what you did with the first two cases have to do with the second two cases? If I see from matzah that even after you're done talking about geula, you still chayav to do a save, so say the same thing regarding yayin. That was the question of Tosfos. Even though you're done talking about geula, you should still be doing a save. So Tosfos, but you did a save before in the first two. There's the first two cases and there's the second two cases. The second two cases have to have a save. What you did in the first two. The mitzvah is to have 4 cases. What's the pirush and midas of what Tosfos is saying here? And then Tosfos adds a third teretz. There's a special lineage why matzah needs a seiba, because a matzah is connected to zeichel acheres. Zeichel acheres shall yispik b'tzekel nachmitz. Yeah, so fragt sich the shaila, and what's with the yayin? Yayin is not zeichel acheres. Yayin is not der acheres. So this is not a question. That's not a question, because Tosfos is l'shitase. Tosfos l'shitase holds that the shtiyas hayayin is not the ikar takana. It's the things that you say on the yayin that's the ikar takana. Matzah, the ikar takana is ti matzah, and the mitzvah of eating matzah is al shem shel hispik b'tzeker shel avseina lahachmitz zeichel agula, but not by yayin. But l'chayri could be medayik. The first answer of Tosfos and the third answer of Tosfos are very similar to each other. Basically, both of them have a simple are all based on the same point. There's something that's unique about matzah that's machayev aseva more than yayin. And Tosfos has 2 svaras, either because matzah is the ikar suda, or because matzah is zeichel agula. It's 2 sibis. What's special about matzah? Then in between, Tosfos haktarain a different teretz that has nothing to do with that. In the middle, Tosfos says a svara mit bayayin, that you don't need on the second 2 cases because you already did on the first 2 cases. Why did Tosfos separate the first teretz from the third teretz with the second teretz if the first and second teretz are very similar to each other? There are 2 timim to the maila of achilas matzah. Tosfos should have put it together. Either the maila is the suda or the maila is the fact that matzah is zeichel acheres. What's the hefsek with this third teretz in between? And if you look into Tosfos Rabbeinu Peretz and Tosfos Harosh, they skip the middle teretz. Same exact Tosfos there without the middle teretz. The middle teretz of ha'oich shekvar heisav b'yayin. In cases, the first 2 cases, they don't quote it. Yeah, so the pshat of is as follows. Tosfos has a different shit than this Indian. You see over here in Tosfos the different teifanim that the Rebbe speaks about a seva. In the Sikha, you see over here in Tosfos the different teifanim of a seva that the Rebbe talks about in the Sikha. Okay, so let me go through the Ikon Akudah that the Rebbe says over here in the Sikha. If anybody learned the Sikha with all the ha'aris, you should have come out with the conclusion that there's 4 Eifanim had to learn the din of a seva. Yeah? Did you see the 4 Eifanim? There's 2 Eifanim that the Rebbe says beferish in the pnim of the Sikha. But the first Eifan and the second Eifan could both be broken down into 2 Eifanim. So what does the Rebbe say? Either Haseva is not a Chiyav b'fnei atzmai, but it's a prat and a tnai in the mitzvah of achilas matzah. It's the first Eifan. You learned the Sikha? But if you look later in the Sikha, in Ha'ara 31, the second paragraph of Ha'ara 31, in the second paragraph of Ha'ara 31, so there's a number 1 there. In the middle of the Ha'ara, there's a number 1. And in number 1, the Rebbe says, according to the Rambam, Yesh loymar, according to the Rambam, loy kol hatnoim shebemitzvahs heim liikuva. Not every single condition in every single mitzvah is liikuva. So over here I see another eifin had to learn the first eifin. The way it says it in the pnim of the Sikha is that just like you have to have a kazayas, and if you ate less than a kazayas, you're not yaitz mitzvahs matzah. If you ate matzah without a seva, you're not yaitz mitzvahs matzah. Chachamim made a takana that you have to eat a dafke b'seva. It's ma'akiv. And if you didn't do a seva, you have to eat over again. And why do you have to eat over again? Because you weren't yotze matzah. Not because you didn't do a seva, but because you weren't yotze matzah. That's what it says over here. But then later, the Rebbe is saying, even in this oifen, even if you say that his seva is a prat in the mitzvah of matzah, it doesn't mean it's liikuva. It could mean that Chachama were masakin, that the shleim is the geoifen, how to be mekayim mitzvahs matzah, is doing it with a seva. So you could do the mitzvah not b'shleimus, and you could do the mitzvah b'shleimus. But it's not liikuva. So even when you say it's a prat in matzvah, is it a prat liikuva, or is it a prat which is a shleimus of matzah? Those are the two eifanim, and I get to the first eifan. Then you have the second eifan over here. The second eifan of the sikha is that a seva is a mitzvah klolis. A seva is a mitzvah klolis b'fnei atzmai. But in this second eifan, you can divide it into two eifanim. Either the pshat is seva is a mitzvah klolis and be'etzem, it has nothing to do with any particular part of the seder. Has nothing to do not with matzah, not with yayin, has nothing to do with any particular part of the seder. It's a mitzvah klolis b'fnei atzmai, which comes from the fact that chayev adam liris es atzmai ki'ilu hu yatzam mitzrayim. That's the makar of a seva. Elamai b'poel mamish chachamim were not mechayev a person that every single thing he does by leila seder should be done by seva. They wanted to put the chiyuv of a seva somewhere. Where should they put it? So where does it make sense to put it? Something that you do tonight, which is anyways a chiyuv and a mitzvah, like dal kaisis and matzah, since it's anyways a mitzvah to do dal kaisis and matzah, so they sort of planted this chiyuv kloli of a seva by mitzvahs matzah, by mitzvahs dal kaisis. Since you anyways have a chiyuv to eat matzah, and you have a chiyuv to drink dal kaisis, and chachamim are mechayiv you with this mitzvah of a seva, so you make a shidduch. Instead of making a person's life difficult, that will put a seva as a chiyuv by, for example, Shulchan Aruch, which is a rishos. So they took the mitzvah of a seva and they were kiveyet by matzah and dal kaisis, which is also a chiyuv. So now, b'shas you do this mitzvah, you do two mitzvahs. You do the mitzvah of a seva and you do the mitzvah of matzah. The mitzvah of a seva and the mitzvah of dal kaisis. But these two mitzvahs have nothing to do with each other. It's just that chachamim, for practical purposes, put these two mitzvahs together. It's one eifan now you could learn the second eifan that the Rebbe says here. Or you could say, and this is the way the Rebbe says it here in the Sikha, this eifan that I just said now, the Rebbe is shayla. The Rebbe negates this in Ara 11. The Rebbe in Ara 11, if you look into Ara 11, in the third paragraph of Ara 11, the Rebbe says, Ki al pizeh, שהסיבה הוא חייב בפני עצמוי, אין הפירוש החיוב החל, כשמקיים מצווה אכילס matzah. Then the Rebbe goes on to explain but this ain, what I just explained right now, is the pirush that the Rebbe says you shouldn't say. They took these two unrelated things, haseva and matzah, and all cases, and they made a shidduch, even though there's no connection between them. The Rebbe learns another eifin. The Rebbe says no, they planted it in mitzvahs matzah and dal cases because matzah and dal cases are also an inyan of chayres. Matzah expresses chayres and dal cases expresses chayres. Or there's a kesher between the haseva and matzah and dal cases. The shleimus, haseva is to express chayres. How do you express that chayres b'shleimus? You express that chayres only if you're eating matzah while you're being mesiv. You're drinking the dal cases while you're being mesiv. That is how you express the haseva we said after zayin. In other words, the way the Rebbe is learning these two eifanim in the Sikha, and the pnim of the Sikha, are min hakotza la kotza. Do you say that the mitzvah is matzah and dal cases, and a seva is a tanai and a prat in mitzvah's matzah? Or do you say punt fakert? The ikke mitzvah here is the haseva, and the matzah and the dal cases is a prat that the haseva should be b'shleimus. If you do a seva in a time where you stop eating and drinking, so there's also you're showing a certain measure of chayres. But if you show that chayres while you eat something which expresses chayres, or drink something that expresses chayres, that's even more derech chayres. That's the way the Rebbe learns it. And there's nafkeminis between all these four eifanim. There's nafkeminis. There's a lot of nafkeminis. Okay, so now coming to the Taisvis. So if you look over here into the Taisvis, l'cha'eira, the Pashtus HaTaisvis, in the first eifan it's mashma that Taisvis learns that a seva has nothing to do with the teichen of mitzvahs matzah. You see this clearly, l'chayr, in the first teretz of Taisus. Hasiba is not connected to, this is what's boilet here in the Taisus. You look into the Rashi and the Rashbam, when they both explain why matzah tzarech hasiba, what did Rashi and Rashbam say? Why is matzah tzarech hasiba? Because it's zeichel l'gula. So the Rashbam and Rashi are both saying that the fact that hasiba has to be done by, when you eat matzah, there's a kesher between the hasiba and the matzah. There's a connection there. It's not a pastam they planted it there. And not only that, I explained all the way in the beginning of the shir, from the Pashtus HaGemara, it's mashma, that it's not something that there's a kesher between them. The matzah demands the hasiba. The yayin demands the hasiba. Tosfos in the first teretz clearly doesn't hold to that. Tosfos stays away from matzah being, all of a sudden, Tosfos forgot that matzah is a special mitzvah, only Leila Seder. What Tosfos says in the first teretz is, matzah is ikar asuda. You look at the words of Tosfos Apella, what do you mean ikar asuda? Tosfos is making believe as if this is a regular sudas yontiv here, and matzah is the ikar of the sudas yontiv. It's not a regular sudas yontiv. Matzah is a mitzvah min atayra to eat matzah. It's a specific mitzvah of the erev teichla matzah. It's not ikar asuda. It's mitzvah matzah. Why is Tosfos ignoring mitzvah matzah? In the third teretz, Tosfos reminded himself as a mitzvah from matzah, zeichel l'gula, like Rashi and Rashbam already said. Elamai, you see clearly that in the first teretz, Tosfos holds that the mitzvah of hasiba has nothing to do with matzah. They will convey it by matzah because it's the ikar asuda. The mitzvah of hasiba is that you should be masive while you eat and drink by the suda. That's what Tosfos is saying. Well, the pshat in Tosfos over here is as follows. When Tosfos says shekva omru gu'ul lefnei asuda, what Tosfos is saying is hasiba is supposed to be done by the suda. Hasiba is not stamped to do hasiba when you're sitting and leaning. Hasiba has to be done by the suda. Now the shaila is, which chelik of the suda were chacham kaveh the hasiba? If the whole mitzvah of hasiba is b'shas the suda, which chelik of the suda? So Tosfos ikir suda. B'negei to yayin, so now Pizet comes out as follows. How does Tosfos learn pshat this Gemara? The mandama that holds yayin tzarech hasiba, the mandama that holds yayin ain't tzarech hasiba. What's the pshat in the Gemara according to Tosfos? It's very different than what I said before, according to the Ran, according to the Alter Rebbe. According to Tosfos, yayin ain't tzarech hasiba because the yayin is not ikar suda. Even though it's not ikar suda, it is sort of a haschol of the suda. You're making kiddush, you're saying the Agada, it is, you're drinking, it's not ikar suda, but at least you're drinking. There is some kind of a connection over here to a suda. So therefore, so what the Gemara says is, that if the things that you speak about while you drink yayin is a teichen of derech chayros, so therefore even on yayin you have to have a seva. But b'negei to matzah, doesn't make a difference what the person talks about. Doesn't make a difference what he says. Yayin is matzah is the ikar chiv because that's the suda needs a seva. The whole takana of hasiba was in the suda. That's the first teretz of Tosfos. So according to the first teretz of Tosfos, the chayre would come out, what happened if a person did not do a seva when he ate matzah? Does he have to eat over the matzah and do a seva again? Huh? Okay, we'll leave that for later. The second teretz of Tosfos, when Tosfos says, V'oi b'yayin heisiv kvar b'shnei kaisis harishayim, what's the pshat in the second teretz of Tosfos? So the question I asked before is, what's Tosfos saying? So you did a seva b'shnei kaisis harishayim, but how does that help you for the shnei kaisis ha'achrayim? There's no, each one needs a seva. Elamai, the second teretz of Tosfos holds that the pshat of the mitzvah of a seva is that you have to have a seva together with da'al kaisis because of the teichen of the da'al kaisis. The teichen of the da'al kaisis is chayros. In the first teretz, Tosfos held the fact that you do a seva while you drink da'al kaisis or while you eat matzah is not connected to the teichen of the matzah. The matzah is just ikar suda, that's all. In the second teretz, Tosfos holds, no. There's a mitzvah of a seva. Like the second oath that the Rebbe says, it's a mitzvah klolos b'fnei atzmai. This mitzvah klolos b'fnei atzmai, Chachamim said it should be done dafka with yayin. Why? Because yayin is derech chayros. Once you had a seva by the first two cases, so you were mekayim the takana of a seva b'shleimus. What's the takana of a seva b'shleimus? To be masive when you drink wine. If you're masive without drinking wine, then it's a seva, it's not b'shleimus. If you're masive when you drink wine, that's the takana of a seva b'shleimus. So once you were mekayim the mitzvah of a seva when you drank wine, so you don't have to do a seva anymore by the other two cases. That's the second teretz of Tosfos. The third teretz of Tosfos, va'oid sheksuva b'Torah zeicha l'cheiros. So here Tosfos is quoting what it says in the Rashbam, and Rashi in the Rashbam, which is the first eifin in the Sikha, that the matzah, the yayin itself, is the reason for the haseva. That the whole takana of haseva is a prat in mitzvahs matzah and in mitzvahs yayin. It comes out that the three tirutzim of Tosfos are three different teifanim in how to be magda the mitzvah of haseva. It's not stam three different tirutzim. The reason why Tosfos doesn't put the last teretz together with the first teretz is because there's no kesher b'neihem. The first teretz holds that mitzvahs haseva is a din klali, has nothing to do with the matzah. The only reason you do it by matzah is because it's ikar asuda. The last teretz of Tosfos holds no. The mitzvah of haseva b'feidish is connected to the teichen of matzah. So steht da. Okay. So now, according to what it says in this Tosfos, let's take a look over here in the Sikha. I'll just finish off with one more point, the Kitzer, in the other 9. In the other 9 of the Sikha, the Rebbe has a suffix. In the other 9, the Rebbe has a suffix. What happens if a person is in a place where he can't eat or drink anything? Is he chayav to do a seva without eating or drinking? Huh? Yeah, you see? Dain tzarechiyun, in the second paragraph. B'imi efshel le'achil or shtiya. He can't eat or drink. Nimtze b'veis asurim chayetze b'zeh. Hayesh chiyav b'seva l'chud. Sh'arei mahod einen meister b'fnei Rabbi mashma da seva grede gam ken derech heireso. Okay, the raya from the Rebbe is a very shver raya. What exactly the Rebbe is bringing a raya from b'fnei Rabbi? If anybody knows what the Rebbe's raya is, let me know if you know. But the Rebbe has a shaila. Is there a concept of a seva without eating or drinking? So, l'chayre, from what it says over here in Tosfos, what does Tosfos say? What's the takana of a seva? The takana of a seva was that it should be done by the suda. Shehi ikir suda. What does Tosfos mean? Does Tosfos mean to say that the whole inyan of a seva is dafke by the suda? So if you don't have a suda, there's no inyan of a seva b'chlal. Or the whole inyan of a seva is dafke biyayin. Or the matzah, which is derech heiros. Without that, there's no union of a seva. The Rebbe is asking this shaila over here, only according to the second oifen, that a seva is a mitzvah klalis b'fnei yatzmai. So even though b'poyel, Chachamim said that a seva should be done by the suda, a seva should be done when you eat matzah, when you drink yayin, but hayos a seva be'etzem is a mitzvah klalis b'fnei yatzmai, maybe there's a need to do a seva without eating or drinking anything. And the Rebbe brings a mocker for this. Lahoi midin sukkah al derech zeh, what is the Tas talking about? The Tas there is talking about the din of Leishav Basukah. The bracha of Leishav Basukah, the takana of the bracha of Leishav Basukah is only when you eat in the sukkah. If you start being metayel in the sukkah, you don't make a bracha Leishav Basukah. What happens if a person is fasting and on that day he's not going to eat anything? So the Taz over there is Machadish, even though the takana of Leisha Basukah is dafka on the Achila, but if you're being metayel in the sukkah on a day that you're not planning on eating, you make the bracha Leisha Basukah even on just being metayel in the sukkah. So the Rebbe is bringing a makkah from that. It's a very interesting dimyan. The same thing over here, even though the ikir takana of a seva was to do it dafka when you eat matzah, when you drink the wine, what if you don't have it? Maybe then you could be mekayim the mitzvah of a seva even without it. And then the Rebbe says, Afshi yesh l'chalik. What's the pshat in the yesh l'chalik? Anybody? Was? What? Right. So l'chayr, the yesh l'chalik is that when it comes to sukkah, there's a mitzvah to eat in the sukkah, there's a mitzvah to be metayel in the sukkah, there's a mitzvah to sleep in the sukkah. All those things are part of the mitzvah of yeshiva b'sukkah. Elamai b'poyel, out of all those things, Chacham were masakin that hayes the ikir mitzvah, the ikir dira is to eat in the sukkah, so they were masakin to make the bracha on achila. That's the ikir mitzvah. But if you're not eating, tiyul, just to be metayel in the sukkah is for sure a mitzvah. No question about it that it's a chelik of the mitzvah of dira in the sukkah. When you get to haseba though, what's the Rebbe's suffix? The Rebbe's suffix is maybe Chachamim were keveya that the takana of a seva should be dafka when you do dal kaisis and matzah. Without that, there is no takana of a seva b'chlal. Or maybe no, there is a mitzvah klalis b'fnei asma of a seva, shlav aleph. Shlav Beis, they attached it to mitzvahs matzah and alt cases. But even after they attached it, it's not likuve. If you don't have it, you can do it even without it. So the dimyan that Rebbe is saying is not 100% the dimyan. You can be mechalik. Okay, not fine.